Agius from Echo Publishing, and I'm delighted to be here with our fabulous author, Meg Keneally, who has published The Wreck. Because we're in lockdown, we don't actually have the books here in the office, which is the strangest thing. But we are delighted that Meg has joined us today, and after the great success of Fled, we are just delighted with being able to publish The Wreck this year, and I hope you guys get out there and buy your copies. But we thought we'd have a nice little just a chat because we're so excited to see each other. Trying to keep our 1.5 meters distance. And so this is just an opportunity for Meg to say hi and also to find out a little bit more about Meg, not just Meg the author, but Meg the fabulous woman that she is. So Meg, hello.
Hello, how are you? It's great to be in here again.
I know, a fabulous little office in Chatswood in Sydney. Meg, I think, people like to know what you do in your life. So I just wanted to know things like, what sort of hobbies do you have?
My favourite hobby has got to be scuba diving, and I haven't had a chance to do as much of it during the pandemic. But there's something about being underwater and cut off from everything that acts like a reset button. And it's just I think it's the only place in the world now you can go to get away from emails now that they've got Wi-Fi on planes, even when they're flying. But I've always been fascinated with shipwrecks as well, and scuba diving allows me to access those, and I just love sort of descending through the grey water, and all of a sudden you see the shape of the shipwreck resolving beneath you, and it looks almost as though, the wreck's drawing particles into itself and forming its shape as you watch, and it's very atmospheric, and I like me some atmosphere.
That sounds like actually a beautiful experience. Like,
it's wonderful.
It must be quite emotional.
It can be, and it's ever so slightly creepy as well.
Yes, yeah. I would think that there'd be something lurking underneath there, and bodies.
Well, the shipwrecks I've dived on haven't been shipwrecks where people died, but it's true that you've got to be conscious of the fact that on some shipwrecks there were people who lost their lives there. And I often dive at the site of the wreck of the Dunbar, on which the wreck of my fictional Serpent is based. And there's nothing left of that ship now after 150 years, at least in terms of structure. But the anchor's still down there, and occasionally you're swimming around and you see that a storm has thrown up little coins or tea tokens or belt buckles or what have you, and we always, take them and give them to the National Maritime Museum. But it's just a reminder that this is a place where great horror occurred.
Because there was only one survivor, and isn't that sort of the thing that happened in the wreck too?
Yes.
Where there was, you don't want to give too much away, so we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Do you ever see any, I'm intrigued by people that go scuba diving, because I have this morbid fear of being eaten by a shark. And I'm sure I'm not alone in doing that. But do you ever kind of feel, oh, that was an interesting close encounter?
No, I've never seen, I think I've done about 1,700 dives, and I've never seen a man-eating shark.
Oh, wow.
Not once.
Lucky.
Yeah, well, maybe they've seen me. I don't know, but I do see sharks like grey nurse sharks, which look very sharky.
Yeah,
but are completely, the snaggle teeth. But they're completely harmless to humans. If you're a small fish, you're in trouble. But
do you go elsewhere? Do you travel overseas to do shipwrecking?
I have. Dived in the South Pacific a little bit, but most of it, the vast majority, has been here in Sydney. And Sydney's a fascinating place to dive. It's not really known as a big dive destination, but there's so much colour, so many interesting critters down there. I really like diving in the Tasman Sea on a good day. Sometimes you get a bad day, but you always see something interesting no matter what the conditions are like.
And one day you might need to take me out there and hold my hand, and we can go to one of those wonderful.
That sounds great.
So other than diving, is there anything else that you love doing?
I love bushwalking as well.
Now you do a bit of that with your dad, don't you?
I do. In fact, when we're writing a Montserrat book, we do all our plotting while bushwalking. But once a week we have a socially distanced. It's the only time I see him now, sadly, because he is not a spring chicken anymore, and so we've made the decision that I won't go to their home.
Of course.
But once a week we have a socially distanced, mask-wearing walk
through the
around
bush.
through the bush or around the quarantine station at North Head, and just have a natter. And
Isn't it beautiful though when you walk through the bush? Because I love
It's
bushwalking
wonderful.
too. Just
Yeah.
the natural, the flowers, the fauna of the
Oh.
Australian bush and the flora. I mean, it's just extraordinary what you see
Gorgeous.
out there.
Absolutely.
And at the moment, all those tiny little grevilleas
and the flannel flowers are I love the flannel flowers. And this Sunday just gone, we were walking around the quarantine station and we saw an echidna sort of ambling along, which was great, and some black cockatoos as well, which we rarely see.
My favourite.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
And you can hear them, that lament. It's just the
Yes,
most beautiful sound.
Very, very haunting sound. In a very haunting place too, of course, because the quarantine station, why we decide to walk around a quarantine station in the middle of a pandemic, I'm not sure.
There's something a bit weird about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that says about us psychologically, but it's a fascinating sight, and it was Australia's bulwark against the Spanish flu 100 years ago.
Of course.
And it's a very eerie, haunting place. They do ghost tours there, so
yes, I know. You can sleep there too.
You can,
which
you can.
Is
it's a hotel.
Yeah, it's a hotel. Highly recommend it.
Yes, but lots and lots of fascinating history.
What extraordinary history that we, it's just around the corner for us lucky people that get to live in Sydney. Yeah. There are some, wonderful areas, and North Head is one of those fabulous places.
Terrific.
Never gets discovered.
And there's so much history out at Parramatta as well. Parramatta is absolutely swooning in it.
Yes, I actually grew up in the western surbs, so we used to do a lot of school excursions out there
to the Governor's Domain and to Elizabeth Farm and
actually, there's a wonderful book coming out shortly about Elizabeth MacArthur. Which will be very interesting. But anyway, we could talk for hours and hours, and so we won't do that. But what do you love to read, Meg? What is it that you love reading?
I tend to be a bit eclectic. I do love reading historical fiction. I love historical fiction, particularly that's told from the point of view of somebody who's on the periphery, like Robert Harris's books about Cicero, told from the point of view of his slave Tiro.
Wasn't that fantastic series?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Hilary Mantel's
have you read the new one?
Books. I haven't yet. It's on my teetering TBR pile, and I'm worried if I drop it, I'll break my toe because it's huge.
I know, they're just amazing.
Yeah. But I haven't. I'm looking forward to reading it. I also really love sort of intelligent dystopian fiction, like Cormac McCarthy's The Road, for example, or alternative, alternative fiction, speculative fiction like A Superior Spectre by Angela.
That was a very good read, wasn't it?
It was excellent. And Terra Nullius by Claire Coleman, people like that. I guess what attracts me is not so much the genre, but the characters.
Yeah. And that the girl in Angela's book was such a strong character.
Absolutely.
And you really could get in touch with her, where she was going. Yeah, that was really very well done, and so many good books around. But
absolutely,
especially, and yours are some of those too. So it's been a total delight, Meg. I think we could just sit here for hours and talk, but we might have another round soon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We really hope that you support Meg with her wonderful new book, The Wreck. There's a trailer that we will. I think we might have put at the beginning of this. And hopefully we can catch up again soon. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Meg. It's been a delight. Thank you.
You too. Take care.
Thanks.